Hello, everyone. This is Realtor Linda Peltz. Today I'm with Michelle Johnson with the Hero Loan Team, and she's here to tell us all about what the interest rates are doing. So stay tuned. Take it away, Michelle.
Yeah, hi Linda. Thanks so much for the introduction, and hi everybody out there. I was just talking. Came across an article, and the big headline is, interest rates will go down multiple times in 2024, and we're thinking, wow, that's great. But as I start to read through the article, I start to see different comments. So one is like, oh yeah, inflation has settled, so we're going to be dropping the interest rates. The first one's going to start in March, and then it's going to drop beyond there. It also says things like basically the stock exchange and the bankers are betting that the interest rates are going to go down in 2024. But then there are other quotes saying, oh, no, we're not thinking about lowering interest rates at all. We're not thinking about raising them. We're just worried about inflation and where that sits. And so even in this article that seems like, hey, interest rates are going down, it's basically saying, well, this is what this person thinks, and this is what this person thinks, and this is what this group thinks, and this is what this group thinks. And none of them are exactly the same. And so basically the takeaway from that is that none of us can really time the market. So we can have a bunch of economic evaluations done, a lot of people talking about this or that, bankers betting that it's going to go one way, Wall Street betting it's going to go another. And the truth of the matter is that nobody really knows, and we can't know, because if they had that information, they would be able to do like insider trading and all of these different things. So me as a buyer, how should I feel about that? How should I wait until March because somebody says that the interest rates are going to drop? Should I wait until October because the interest rates are going to drop?
No,
No,
that's
yeah,
mine. Refi
that's
at that time, because I'm telling you what, if the interest rates drops, which are very slim that it'll ever be down at that 2%, 2.5% ever again. But if it does, then you're battling you can't get your offers accepted because there will be 30 offers on the home. So why would they pick yours over somebody else? So right now, buy the house you can afford right now. Refi it.
right.
That's my take on it. What's yours?
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly it. Like, we talk to a lot of clients because of course we're mortgage brokers, and so people want to get approved, and we get them approved, and they look at what they're able to afford and what their monthly payment would be, and what they have for down payment, and we decide, yes, this is going to work. You can go out and start shopping. But maybe they decide at that point, well, I'd really like to have 4 bedrooms, but I can only afford 2 or 3. Or I would like to have that pool, but I can't afford the pool, or whatever it is. And so they tell themselves a bunch of different, what I call lies. So they tell themselves, well, I'll just wait until the housing market crashes, or I'll just
Not
wait
gonna
until
crash.
right. Or I'll just wait until interest rates are lower, or I'll wait until I get my raise, or I'll wait until I can save more money. But the truth of the matter is that with a home investment, and especially in the state of California, the amount you're going to get as a raise, the amount that you're going to save, the amount, none of these things, like the amount that housing prices are going to drop, which they're not, uh, you know, they're never going to get you ahead as much as buying a house that will meet your needs, maybe not all of your wants. And then as you pay your mortgage instead of your rent, that money goes into your pocket as equity. And we've talked about equity before. As I build that equity, also my home is raising as far as its value goes. So at the end of the year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or whatever point you think that waiting is going to benefit you, now not only have you gotten that raise, now not only have you saved some money, but now you have all of that equity that you have earned in your house from
And
paying
you
your
can use
mortgage,
it
and
for the
also from
next
it
one.
appreciating. Right. And then when I go and sell my house, then I have an additional $50,000 worth of value in my home, then now all of that 50,000 can transfer to my new home, and it can work as an additional down payment if I have saved a little extra money, or even if I haven't. Now I have a $50,000 down payment instead of let's say 10%, or I'm sorry, 3.5% on most first time buyers. FHA is 3.5%. Usually it's around $10,000 to $20,000 that someone has saved. Well, this now becomes 50,000. So instead of waiting, I've leveraged my investment and I've been able to grow my savings exponentially. So if rates come down, like you mentioned, like if they come down in March, if they come down in October, if they come down next year, that just puts me in a position that I already have my home. So another thing we haven't talked
You're not
about
going to
is
be fighting with everybody.
that
You're
is
not
what it
going to
is. That is it
get
right
that
there.
dream home. Chances are pretty slim if there's 30 offers on the dream home, which, let's face it, there are some very gorgeous homes out there, but you're going to pay premium for them. You're going to be up against 30. So chances are pretty slim, unless you're going to pay over market value. You're not going to be the one getting into it. So
that's exactly
get
right.
into something now and quit paying somebody else's mortgage. That's the way I look at it.
That's right. That's right. And like you said, if mortgage rates really do drop 4 times next year, by the end of that drop, then all of the people who have been waiting will be back in the market pool. And now you are looking at 20, 30 offers on every home. And people saying, well, I've got, equity in my home, so I'll pay that appraisal gap. If that home isn't worth, the 20,000 extra that I'm offering, I'll pay it anyway. And if you don't have that money because you haven't purchased a home, then you don't have the option to appraisal gap.
Nope.
So
a lot of people just don't have that kind of money in this particular, time of life. They just don't have that kind of money sitting around. Way back, 100 years ago, they would save their pennies for years, and they wouldn't even buy their first house till, like late 40s, early 50s, when they could pay cash for it. So very different world that we live in.
Yeah, it's a different world. And the truth of the matter is, because of that, a lot of people are increasing their net worth a lot easier. Because as we talked about before, those who rent versus those who buy, the net worth of individuals who are homeowners is much higher than the net worth of individuals who are renting. And it's for all these reasons we've talked about, because every month when I throw that money away for rent, it's going in somebody else's pocket. Whereas every month when I pay my mortgage, it goes into my own net worth. Most of it does. Some of it goes to interest.
It does. But if they would pay a little extra every month, a couple $100 towards the principal, they're going to cut that time down considerably, and you build their equity a whole lot faster. So
that's true. And also, just with the increase in home prices in California, it's not that 2 or 3% increase typically here. It's quite a bit more.
We are our cheap ones that are not always spot on ready to move in. Our low end right now is, and it's still lower than a good part of California, but in the same respect, we priced a lot of our people, our clients that we would normally be helping, the in-town people, we've kind of priced them right out of a home. So our low end right now that's not always up to par is like 300,000. And those a lot of times require some work in order to kind of move in. They're not always aesthetically perfect, and sometimes there's safety issues we're dealing with. So that limits your loan amounts or loan types that you can get on them. If you want a decent house, you almost have to be able to, be approved bare minimum 350, but more like 400,000 if you want like you say, a very nice move-in ready home. So
right. Yeah.
That's just the market.
Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to be able to be approved for that, then now's the time to get in, because rents always go up, mortgage payments stay the same, with the exception, of course, taxes and insurance they fluctuate a little bit, but this is what your rent is doing. and this is what your mortgage does. And as rent goes like this and mortgage stays the same, your mortgage feels a lot lower and a lot lower. And then if you can refinance at some point, then it drops even lower. And that is really the thing to do. And I can't stress that enough, is if interest rates do drop, then the market will become a frenzy like it was before. And you want to get in before that happens. So,
Get into
talk to
something.
Linda. That's right.
Yeah.
Talk to Linda. Yeah. And not to mention that the process takes a little while to get fully underwritten, fully pre-approved. Now you know the amount that you're wanting to shop for. Now you go out with Linda or to her team, and they're taking you to the different houses that are in the market. And maybe you like this one, maybe you don't. Maybe you put an offer on that one, and for whatever reason, it doesn't get accepted. And now you're moving on to the next one. So it isn't like just because I've gotten pre-approved, I'm buying tomorrow. It doesn't always work like that, So sometimes it can be 2, 3 months, 6 months later that you find that home that you want. And so it's nice to just get into the process, knowing that I'm pre-approved, knowing what I can afford, and really start looking.
Yeah, because we can't really even take you out looking until you get that pre-approval. And I, as a realtor, prefer it to be underwritten because we've talked about this. I have homes we get into escrow and they did not bother to turn in all their paperwork. And oh, by the way, we got to cancel escrow. So you've wasted a lot of people's time, right? Because the paperwork was not submitted and was not approved by your back office, right? By your underwriters. And then all of a sudden, everybody's wasted all this time and effort. And, we're still having to cancel your escrow. And if you don't even have a pre-qualification, which means you've at least talked to a lender, we can't even get you into homes to go look at them. Nobody wants a bunch of people tromping through their house that has no intention of buying it. So
That's right.
it's
That's
just a little,
absolutely right.
I don't think people quite understand how real estate or realtors, work, or the market works, with the lenders and different things. I think it's just basically educating them pretty much every time is you have to get your pre-approval. That means you have to not just talk to a lender, but you have to submit paperwork to them. And then the lender goes through and makes sure everything's there and gets a notification from their underwriters that says, yes, we will approve this loan. Now all you're waiting on is the house. That's the easy part, but trying to get all
That's
that
right.
paperwork approved is the tough part. So that's a
Right.
pre-approval with underwriting.
That's right. And the nice thing about that is I'm not out there in the dark thinking, oh, I like this house, I'm going to go look at it. I know what's really available for me. So I'm not getting, my hopes up on this house or that house, when really I could find a nice house that's in my budget if I know what my budget is. But if I don't
Yes.
know what my budget is, and also telling myself, well, I think this should be my monthly payment, and then talking to a professional and saying, okay, if that's what you want your monthly payment to be, then this is where you need to be. And then as you go up, this is what your monthly payment will be,
Yep.
so that you have an idea of, like, we're not just pulling things out of the sky. Well, I think I can afford this much. It's like, well, what does the $400,000 house translate when it comes to monthly payment? Because it is unique and individual when it comes to the area that it's in, because there's property taxes,
Yep.
the insurance typically in that area, your credit score and loan availability, your income. So there's so much that goes into what your personal monthly payment would be on a certain amount. So getting that information and just being armed with that knowledge, and knowing that just because I get a pre-approval from a loan officer doesn't mean I have to buy tomorrow. I think a lot of people
Right.
are afraid, and they think if they start that process that then they're pressured. And it's not about pressure, it's about knowledge, and it's about power.
Well, I think a good example is if you bought a, $350,000 home up in one of our mountain areas or our rural areas, the closing costs are going to be way different and the payment's going to be way different than a $350,000 one in the city. And why is that, do we ask? Insurance. Insurance is a lot higher out in the country or in our mountain
That's
areas.
right.
than it is in the city. So
Right.
that changes your payment every month. So those are the things you need to kind of learn about. And in order to do that, you need to talk to a lender and find out, kind of Michelle needs to find out kind of what area are you thinking, about. Are you planning on staying in the city? Are you planning on, being out in the country, which they have the USDA loans. Those are great. But if they're in a fire zone, it changes it all. I mean, they just had a big, huge insurance shift in July, and the fire insurance almost tripled. So from what it was. So it all plays a part in there. And until, like you say, you get that knowledge, you're not going to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all that being said, as we always harp on, well, no matter what it is we talk about, we kind of always come back to the bottom line, which is get yourself a professional team, real estate agent, loan officer. Let us do the work for you so that you're prepared to buy a home when you find the right one.
Perfect. Yes, I agree. And don't think you're going to come in and manipulate us, because the market is what the market is. You need to actually listen to the professionals if you truly want a home. It's not going to change just because you're in the market. It is what it
That's right.
is. So, and
Yeah. I mean, we
first
wish we
step,
could manipulate the market.
I
We wish we
don't
could.
we wish, yeah. First step is always, find your team that's going to be working for you, and
That's right.
first step is always the lender. Make sure you know what
That's right.
lender, and make sure you're fully underwritten so that you don't lose out on if we do find that dream home. And then,
That's right.
let's go start taking a look. My opinion on finding a home is location, location. A home can be changed in any way, but you cannot change the location. So make sure you like wherever it is you're living. That's all I can say, because
That is really good advice.
yeah, you can change some things about the house that maybe it doesn't quite fit your family, but you cannot change the location that they're in. So,
That's true. You can't pick it up and move it. So,
yeah. Better like your neighbors. You better like, the area that
yeah.
it's sitting, because, the shops and the different things. So, schools, all that good stuff. So, anyway, it's always fun, Michelle. Thank you for joining me. Do you have anything else? Do you have your information you want to hand out? And then we'll
Yeah, absolutely. So just always know we, of course, accept all loans, but we specialize in anybody in a hero field. So whether they're in law enforcement, fire, military, medical, and education, and you don't have to be like the hotshot doctor or the sheriff. You can be in any employment within any of those fields, whether you're administrative, billing, even custodial, and we'll help you out in those areas. So you can reach out to Hero Loan Team. My cell phone is 559-314-6760. Or, of course, you can start with Linda and she will help direct you to the Hero Loan Team as well.
Perfect. Perfect. Everybody, I hope you're having a tremendous day. I will catch you on the next one, and we'll have a nice discussion about some other topic. I am here for all you and your friends' real estate needs and questions. Just keep those calls and texts coming. My license number is 01997670, and we'll include all this information down below. Have a wonderful day, everybody.